The Second Sun Series, Part 3: The Mystery of the Primeval Sun, the Star of Saturn, and Primeval Sun Symbolism Around the World. I'm Bled Scry. Please like and subscribe. In Part 1 of this series, I talked about the book The Saturn Myth and David N. Talbot's theory that Saturn was our primeval sun in ancient days. How long ago Saturn was much closer to the Earth and was fixed in our north sky, with it acting as a second sun after sunset, illuminating the night sky in a radiant purple glow. After some cosmic event, that all changed to our current sky situation and left us with the only sun we now know. In part 2 of this series, we ended that video by looking at some verses from the book of Amos. Thanks, Mom. She informed me I was pronouncing the name wrong in my last video. So today, I wanted to start by looking at verse 26 again, and its mentioning of the Star of Saturn and what that could be. What is the Star of Saturn? You also carried Sikuth, your king, and Kiyun, your idols, the star of your gods, which you made for yourselves. In the Amplified, you carried along your king Sikuth and Kiyun, your man-made gods of Saturn, your images of your star god, which you made for yourselves, but you brought me none of the appointed sacrifices. In the BES translation, yeah, ye took up the tabernacle of Moloch and the star of your god Rephan, the images of them which ye made for yourselves. Sikuth, Kiyun are Assyrian and Babylonian words thought to reference Saturn, and the Septuagint uses the word Raphan for it. So what could this star of Saturn be? So what if in the ancient night sky the people could see this North Pole hexagonal cloud of Saturn clearly as it shone with a purple glow? What if this is the Star of Saturn, referenced in Amos 5:26? Saturn's North Pole appears as a hexagon because a complex interaction of atmospheric winds, where a strong jet stream at the pole is surrounded by smaller storms around it, creating a stable, six-sided pattern. The hexagonal storm cloud would not have been visible to Earth during ancient days, unless it was much closer to the Earth in those days. Notice how the center point of the cloud forms a perfect point for forming a cube as well. The strange hexagonal cloud of the North Pole of Saturn could be the origin of these ancient symbols. The six-pointed star could be another symbol for the primeval sun, Saturn. The cube could be a symbol for Saturn, going back to its ancient days, reigning as the primeval sun. What if the Star of Saturn is known today as the Star of David? Amos 5:26, the star of your gods, your images of your star god, which you made for yourselves, the star of your god Raphan. If you were to add the six-pointed star to the cube, you would get I'm sorry, had to clear my throat. No comment. I find it interesting that David also happens to be known for playing beautiful music with his harp. In the part 1 video of this series, I discussed parallels between Apollo and Saturn, and whether his lyre was symbolic of the age of Saturn, the primeval sun. It makes me wonder if the view of the rings along with the sounds coming from Saturn could have inspired the creation of these bow-shaped instruments in ancient days. These guys should have started a band, the Golden Agers. Okay, I'm done. I'm sorry. I also wanted to make note that the king's crown could be an ancient symbol of the rings and the age of Saturn that's been passed down all along. One last thought. Notice how the wrinkles in the cloth at the bottom of David's harp only add to the resemblance of the rings of Saturn in this depiction. The Kaaba is a stone cube-shaped building at the center of Islam's most important mosque and holiest site, the Masjid al-Haram in Mecca, Saudi Arabia. The cube, a possible primeval sun symbol for Saturn. It is important to note that the hexagonal cloud spins counterclockwise. We now know that today. The Kaaba is considered by Muslims to be the Baytullah, or house of God. During Ramadan and other pilgrimages, Muslims walk counterclockwise around it. The walking counterclockwise around the Kaaba is similar to how electrons orbit the nucleus of an atom. Atum-ra, anyone? Could it be that this tradition is them mirroring what they saw in the ancient sky? Another primeval sun cube symbol can be found in Judaism, and it is a black cube, just like the Kaaba in Mecca. The tefillin are a pair of small black leather boxes worn by some Jewish people during prayer. They contain Torah verses written on parchment and are worn on the head and arm. Traditionally, the Ashkenazi wrap their tefillin arm straps counterclockwise. So both Judaism and Islam have the cube symbolism in their respective religions today. The counterclockwise parallel can't just be a coincidence, can it? This verse from the book of John came to mind as well. In part 4 of this series, we will get into more of the Saturn and Satan connections, but I felt this verse needed to be said here. Please look out for that video, by the way. Messiah's words to the Pharisees: "Ye are of your father, the devil, and the lust of your father ye will do. He was a murderer from the beginning, and abode not in the truth, because there is no truth in him. When he speaketh a lie, he speaketh of his own, for he is a liar and the father of it." Is the father devil Saturn? Atum-ra. So now we're going to get into more primeval sun symbolism around the world today. Menivis, the Egyptian bull god thought to be a physical manifestation of Atum-ra, Menivis was depicted as a black bull with a solar disk between its horns, another possible primeval sun symbol. Could the Wall Street bull be a modern representation of Menivis? So all of these obelisks were taken from the ancient city of Heliopolis, except for the Washington, D.C. monument. Heliopolis, the city of Atum-ra, who I believe was the primeval sun, Saturn. They sure did a good job of scattering these monuments around the world. After you watch this video, and all of my other videos, please do a search online for black cube statues and note how many exist around the world. Often, they happen to exist in important places. It seems to be a very popular symbol. I wonder if it all goes back to the primeval sun. Is Saturn still being worshipped secretly worldwide? I'm Bled Scry. Please like and subscribe to continue on this journey with me as we explore this great mystery. Thanks for watching.